Hello, this is ebook 9. So come on in, relax yourself, and I tell you, please listen to the content. Okay, we're going to be talking about the newness of 2019 and about the relationships, about what we need to be expecting for 2019. 2019, I hope you have learned and that you was focused for 2018 when you have made that decision. I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking about those that are single and those that came out of relationships. And I hope that you have made not just a revolution for your life, but you have made a change to move people out of your life, and especially men as well as women who can definitely be a narcissist. We definitely have to watch out for the areas now that we have crossed over to a new year. And especially, I'm talking to those that are single and you're waiting in the bridal chamber, you're waiting for your husband, you're waiting for your wife. This is the year that we have to make a decision to know that it's a blessing to love thyself. And also not to get so caught up with everybody business and say, well, they got a man, they got a woman, why I don't have one. But the main thing is to love yourself to the extreme and to pull yourself together before you allow anybody to come into your life that would disturb your plans. Because once you get in a relationship and you got to study that relationship, you have to put energy into that relationship. The main thing is to be conscious minded and not to cross over from 2018 to go into 2019 with a mind that is combobulated. And when I mean combobulated, where you thinking about I'm lonely and all of this stuff. And I was watching something recently, very recently, since the new year came in. And this person made a decision that they went on a dating, site, and they wanted to start dating. And their mother, they're a mature woman, and they went on this here dating site. And as I was looking at her, and she was talking about how she went on this dating site and everything, seemed like is okay. The main thing before you decide to even make that route to go on a dating site, make sure you mentally ready before you allow anyone to come into your life. You have to know that when you add in someone in your life, you have other aspects to look at, especially if you're a mature person and that you have children or you have grandchildren. You have to make sure that are you ready to allow this person to come into your life and to make changes in your life, because definitely there will be changes coming into your life. I'm not here to depress you. I'm here for you to get prepared. 2018, I had decided that I wasn't going to date. I had been abstinent and I had been celibate for a very long time. And I said, okay, let me try dating for 2018. And when I did, the Holy Spirit opened me up. I mean, He opened me up, Yahweh, through the power of Yeshua, Yahshua Mashiach. The Holy Spirit opened me up. And when the Holy Spirit opened me up, it started showing me, are you really ready, daughter? And I had to look at it. I was not ready because I became overwhelmed because I was already involved with things that I was making changes. Just like you looking at the crystal with different things. It's so beautiful, but it got different elements to it. And that is how God is now blessing us to come forth with this beautiful design of gifts. And that we got to now learn each and every stone that is wrapped up inside of us and not to allow it to be pressed out. This is why this stone looks so beautiful, because every detail of this crystal is showing that was it for me. And in 2017, I was going into dating when the blessing was already on me, where I had been absent for many years. So that is the major thing for me, is to know your self approval. Yes, we have to take our time to know our self approval and not allow anyone to uncover our virtueness. Our virtueness is our soul salvation, the blessing of Yahweh holiness that is upon us. And that is for male and female. So why should we allow anyone to come into our life and unveil us and then shape us and mold us into what they want us to be? It is time to stand up if you really believe in the empowerment that Yahweh has given us in our life. And I only can speak for myself, but if I also tell you, please join in to understand that the blessing of greatness is loving yourself before you allow another person to come in. We got to set up rules and regulations because that's what Yahweh gave us. He gave us rules and regulations and boundaries to protect ourselves through the trials, the tribulation of hardship. And if we start protecting ourselves in these areas, that is when we can overcome the disaster of relationship. One of the main things for a woman to understand who is a queen, who is adored by the holy flowers, is to understand that a woman is a blessing to a man and not to be dragged out, not to be mistreated, not to be thrown down to be less than nothing. A woman is a flower. She is beautiful. She is with nothing but beautiful talents of eggs that is filled up in her, ready to be fertilized, and for the eggs to mature in her to be birthed out. When a man can understand that blessing and the value of a woman, I tell you, he will have a lifetime gift, a gift of greatness upon his life. But if he abused that woman, that is the time that he will understand the failure of a relationship, a failure of a marriage, a failure of being a father, a failure to recognize in society that they are looking at that his manhood has failed. A woman is the major support of a man, blessing of manhood. Even though when he don't even want to realize that. Because the way a man treat a flower, a woman, is the way society look at him to be a strong man. And when he get that in his head and understand that blessing, great is that warrior, great is that king who represent the womanship, who represent and say, I understand this woman is not to be dog out. This woman is not to be treated low as the low of the dirt. Because all of us come from dirt, so it cannot be just like, oh, that is the low of the dirt. It have to mean that they are treating you to non-existence, because dirt is existence. Dirt is where we come from. Dirt is where the minerals come from, the earth of the plantation. So that man not even treating you in the blessing of the ground of the clay that you came out of. So that is the main thing that a man got to recognize, that society is looking at him and saying, are you really in the right order? Are you really a real strong man? Are you there to nourish the eggs that was fertilized by your seed? That is major for a man to understand his kingship. The major thing for a man to recognize his kingship is also to know that he is the one that have to recognize he's in control. So being in control, going out just with woman after woman and laying your seeds down and no responsibility, that is not kingship. Kingship represent that you will harvest your seeds. That means that you will definitely take the time to nourish that seed, water that seed, and you will make sure that it grow healthy. This is the major problem that men have today. A lot of men go into one woman to the next woman to the next. And this new generation that coming up right now, they are right now in a terrible place. I tell you, it is terrible where they're at, because they feel no love, no compassion for the female. The only thing right now that satisfies them is the flesh. Is the sight of the flesh and the feeling of the flesh. And no matter which way you have to get it, bisexual, heterosexual, or homosexual, this is the major thing that goes on with the society order right now, is about sex. So not only men are being attacked with this, females are being attacked also. That's why you have to be very careful about going into relationships, because you got to know who you are. But first of all, you got to make sure who you inviting into your life, who you inviting into your circle, into your matrix. and to make sure that they are not coming in to devastate you and bring disease and infections and all kinds of drama into your life. You have the responsibility to make a change in your life. You have the responsibility to say, no, I have the law of God in me. I have the law of boundaries in me. And it's things that I refuse not to do to cover my own self. So that is where we have to come in right now and to recognize that the enemy have sent out imps, demons, and all kinds of devastation against the young people, against the older people. It is some older people that is out there mature, that is out there even worse than the younger people with sex immorality. The main thing that they think about, no relationship, no bonding, is about sex. And then when marriage come in, some of the marriages not even lasting a year. Some of the marriages not lasting 2 or 3 years. We can look at that with Cardi B. Cardi B is showing it right now with Offset that she mainly right now is the marriage is out in the public and about definitely about his infidelity. So right now, even not this is not dealing with mature relationships, it's dealing with the youth relationship. They're right now coming all the way into their teens. It is a rocky situation. It is a sex driven spirit that is now taking attacking flight on people. So wake up and see this here for what it is. Yes, it's time to wake up and know the seriousness of this situation. Because right now, this situation is not just facing society, it's not just facing the gays, it's not just facing homosexuals, heterosexuals, tri, bi. This is affecting everyone. It's affecting our children. It's confusing them. I'm telling you, lack of knowledge is everywhere when it comes down to sex. That's what it is. Sex is not love. So the main thing when you going into a relationship and this 2019 and you want to build a relationship, you better make sure that you're not dealing with a narcissist person. You better make sure that that demon is not taking full control to bring havoc to your life. Make sure you love yourself enough before you allow people or a person to come in. And some is even dealing with more than one relationship. They are open, not just the person going into that relationship. They are coming in and not even asking you. Not even asking you, say, look, I want an open relationship. I want an open relationship. I could deal with this one, that one. Next thing you know, you thinking you are anonymous, you by yourself, and this is between you and him and or her. Next thing you know, you got 5 other men you got to deal with because of this relationship with this female. You got 5 other women you have to deal with because of this relationship with this man. Wake up and know the importance of this year of 2019 to love yourself enough to respect yourself before you allow anybody to come into your life, to come in and share your life with you, because you're going to be sharing their life too. But sometimes when you go into relationship and there's a dominant relationship, they want you to stop your whole world, even down to your career, could be a mess. All of that could take place if you are not charged up before you take on that responsibility. You have to recognize 90% of that relationship, 90% is not going to be in the bed making love. It's going to be with communication. It got to be with a togetherness. That is what the 90% of the relationship is about, because majority of that relationship is not going to be where you're going to end up in the bed having a good time making love every minute. You understand me? If some call it sex, because I could not understand how in the world you could get married and then turn around and call it sex. If you love that person, it would be I'm making love. So even 90% of physical body is not going to be making love every single day, because some of you have to go to work, some of you have full schedules, you come home, you working together, you striving together, you have financial situations going on, you planning things. A lot of that is not going to be in the bed. A lot of it is right now building yourself to be able to know, can I handle that kind of relationship?